Eliana here, and welcome to part 3 of overcoming the fear of visibility. I'm visible. Are you being visible? As we continue our journey to overcome the fear of visibility, we're now ready to explore actionable strategies that are going to empower you to really shine at your brightest. If you missed videos 1 and 2, part 1 and 2, the links are below in the first comment section below this video. So go ahead and they don't have to be in order. All right. So watch this video and then afterwards go back to 1 and 2 because they each complement one another very, very well. So as we continue, we are now ready to empower you to really shine your light. All right. In this video, we're going to focus on building your self-confidence and self-worth, overcoming the imposter syndrome, and embracing your unique strengths and talents. And by implementing these strategies, you're going to find strength to step out of your comfort zone and share your voice more confidently. Because stepping out of your comfort zone is, I would say, the number one strategy and if I'd say an actionable step for you. Willingness is actually a step, and then you get to take action on it. Okay. But if we look at, what is self-confidence, right? And what's its significance to overcoming our fear of visibility? Well, look at this. All right. Number one, being willing to go outside of your comfort zone. That is an action. All right. Like trust is an action. My mentor used to say to me, then you follow it up with action. What do I do to get out of my comfort zone? Well, you could ask yourself, what is one teeny beany thing? Think of it right now. What is something that you really are motivated to do or to move forward with, but the fear of visibility is getting in your way? Perhaps it's singing. Perhaps it's recording a Facebook Live. Perhaps it's speaking your heart to your partner or a loved one. Or we're getting ready for, at holiday times it comes up, we meet the holiday Scrooges and you want to show up in a new way. And self-confidence comes when we're willing to get out of our comfort zone. So what little step could you take that takes you out of your comfort zone? I'll tell you what it isn't. Getting it perfect first, because you're never going to get it perfect. It's part and parcel of developing confidence. Because think about the last time where you did. I mean, there's so many times in your life where you have gone out of your comfort zone, when you've started something new, when you didn't know how it would work out, but you took a step, or you moved ahead anyway, even though you didn't know what the outcome would be. Huh? And now we'll deal with that more in a moment. Let me share a few practical tips for your building your self-confidence. Getting out of your comfort zone, yeah, but also be willing to do things differently. They say that the definition of lunacy or craziness is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Like, how's that working for you? It's not going to happen. That's nuts. It's craziness. So then how do we build our self-confidence? Go out of your comfort zone. But then the second thing is feel the fear, but move ahead anyway. Okay. First section. Next section. set achievable goals. You know, you may have a dream and we get stuck because we look too far in the future. When, if you ask yourself, what's one small part, just the next indicated action? As in this ancient feminine approach to life, less is more and slow is fast. Don't be afraid to take the time. Don't be afraid to not know, because as we just spoke a moment ago about developing self-confidence, that perfectionism, having to have it right, that's like the kiss of death. It's kind of connected to that other thing of doing the same thing and expecting a different result, trying to get it right, having the right words, or here's another one, reacting to that silent critical voice. That will stop your confidence and that will stop your goals, kill them like before they ever can even start to see the light of day. And think about that. It's your voice is so important that the silent part, what you don't hear, is even more important than what you hear. What comes out of your mouth is actually the after effect of how you chose to show up, which is why building self-confidence requires you being willing to do things differently and to feel the fear and do it anyway, and to set little teeny actionable goals, you know, where it's little, and leave it when you feel confident. Don't press yourself to keep moving on, because that less is more and slow really ends up being fast. And then the next thing is celebrate small victories, the little things. Do something kind for yourself. Or the thing that I find is, you know, I just moved to a new country, I'm learning a new language, just like so much new stuff. And what's really, really helping me is I'm acknowledging what I'm doing right. It's like the little girl, you know, that vulnerable, oh God, it's so uncomfortable. But I'm not pushing myself. That's the thing. That's the big thing for me that's building my confidence, is I'm not pushing myself. Now it's bringing up a lot more feelings and a lot more vulnerability, but it's leaving the space open for me to acknowledge the part of me inside of me who is daring to do one teeny little thing. It's it's so empowering. It's so empowering when you go out of your comfort zone. I'm thinking of another retreat uh, from several years ago, who she came on a retreat where she had never traveled alone. She had only traveled with her partner, and she had also traveled for work. But it was when it was really, really structured. And then she got to a point where her partner passed, and she was drawn, but she didn't know what would happen on the flight, what would happen, would she know? And she went to a foreign country, but she did it, and she walked through her discomfort, and the whole point that she said yes to herself, that she put her money where her mouth is. I mean, money proverbially, you know, meaning she said yes to herself. She didn't talk herself out of it when all of the doubts and everything leading up to her travel. And then on the retreat itself, she got such support that she was able to communicate in a totally new way that she had never experienced before. And that was so empowering to her that she ended up continuing. She really wanted to use her voice more, and she studied this. She went deeply with this therapeutic singing modality and began to compose her own music. And she had been diagnosed with a physical disability, And so that had stopped her for many, many years from really going out, but she kept, less is more, little, 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 little. Right now, there's one more thing that I want to discuss here, and that's overcoming the imposter syndrome. And what is imposter syndrome? It's, oh my God, if I really go out there, they're going to find out I'm a total fake, right? And here's some strategies to overcome it. Well, first of all, it's based on fallacy. You're you. There's only one you. All right. And a strategy, let's talk about a few strategies that you can employ to overcome that imposter syndrome. One is recognizing and reframing negative thoughts. Okay, like with the client that I was just talking about now, how she did that was, in she was terrified at some point. Once she said yes to herself in leading up to the retreat, there was a time lag, and no, I shouldn't do. Should I really do it? I can't. But she never spent that amount of money on herself either. It was like totally new. But when the fears came up, like there's this side and that side, both were terrifying to her. Moving forward was terrifying, and not moving forward was terrifying. But she reframed the terror, and she decided, okay, well, if I don't move forward, well, I get to be safe, but my life's going to be really small. And if I move forward, I'm going to be terrified, but I will have moved forward. And she did, it was like double duty. That was the thing that was so empowering to her. And then she met the discomfort, and then she saw she wasn't a fake at all. She was just her. And she got so empowered by meeting other people who were doing the same thing, that she wasn't alone. So, what unique talents and qualities do you have? And you can learn what that is by self-reflection. And I really want to encourage you to do that. Take some time to reflect in quiet and to explore, maybe write in a journal. And you can, I'm going to ask you at the end a question, and you can share in the comment section below. That's a way that you overcome the imposter syndrome. That's another way that you reframe your fear in a positive way. It's another way that you meet your vulnerability, but you empower yourself by sharing your experience, because you'll learn that it's experience, strength, and hope, because it's your voice. There's only one you. Nobody else has it, and nobody else could tell you what's right and wrong. But if you don't share, or you're, like we spoke at the beginning, if you're expecting to be perfect, that's the ticket to hell. And the other thing, seek feedback from trusted friends or trusted colleagues. And if you don't feel that, if you're in such a midst of change, do that here. I promise, if you write below, I will respond back, and I do not bite. I promise, if you participate and experience yourself being uniquely you, imperfectly, perfectly imperfect, right? I will respond to whatever you write, and I will acknowledge you for doing it. And so will other people. So will other people. If you're not part of our Healing Voices community, join that. It doesn't cost you a cent in our Facebook group, Our Healing Voices. I'll put the link below as well. And I remember that same client who I spoke of, like the third thing that's coming up now is, by her being willing to show up and speak about the debilitating disability, which she hadn't shared. She she was, braving it alone because she thought if anybody knew what she was dealing with, that she'd be found out defective because she felt defective. But what she ended up doing is that when she shared, she became empowered. And then as she was learning, she went deeper in learning and creating music, which she had never done before with these therapeutic singing tools. She actually healed an aspect of her debilitation, and she started helping other people who have the same, who felt similarly like there was something defective in them and they couldn't share. And lo and behold, this year, in the midst of what's going on, um, she published her first book, and she's just thriving now. And she's thriving because she was willing to go out of her comfort zone. She was willing to feel the fear and do it anyway. And she still is, because she's in like totally new territory now. And she's overcoming her imposter syndrome because she's just being herself. And that needing to be, she was like really perfectionistic. Oh my goodness. And now that's giving way to embracing her uniqueness, which is really causing her, she looked like a totally different person, like 30 years younger. So I really want to encourage you to implement these strategies in your daily life. And then in the uh, next video, in the next section in this series, I'm going to invite you to stay engaged, because you're going to see, and we're going to cover how to come out of isolation so that you can feel safe to express who you truly are without the fear that you're going to be cut down or persecuted or criticized. So stay tuned. I really appreciate your staying to the end here and your commitment to your overcoming your fear of visibility. And now I want to invite you to share your own thoughts and your experience in the comment section below. Which one of these things that we discussed today, building your self-confidence and self-worth, overcoming the imposter syndrome, embracing your unique strengths and talents, which one of those is really beep, beep, shouting out to you today? Which one do you see as most important, or that by focusing on that would really help you to take your next step forward? I'm really curious. I'm waiting to hear from you. The benefit to you is by commenting, and there's no right or wrong. Can't screw this up. It's your beautiful voice. It's important. And I promise I'll respond, and it'll be constructive and it'll be empowering. And that will help you take your next step forward. Look forward to hearing from you. Until the next installment. Bye.